Hi, it's Jackie with Panama Relocation Tours. Thank you for joining us for Move to Panama Q&A live stream. In just a little bit, I'm going to get to your questions about moving to and living in Panama. But first, I have a very important announcement to make. And I've got some notes here that I'm going to read so I don't forget anything. So tonight, we're launching something really special. It's the biggest giveaway that we do every year. We did this for the first time last year, and it was so successful. We're doing it again this year. What we're doing is it's your chance to win the Online Panama Relocation Guide for absolutely free. And also to win a pensionado visa absolutely free. And that can be for a single person or for a couple. All you have to do to win one of these things is register for our newsletter, and you'll go to PanamaRelocationTours.com/giveaway. That's where you're going to register. You're going to get lifetime access to the Online Panama Relocation Guide. Of course, the online guide is something that's helped hundreds and hundreds of people move to Panama the right way. If you come on a Panama relocation tour, you also get the online guide is included with your tour. But with the online guide, you get all of our contacts for reliable and affordable immigration attorneys, honest real estate agents, insurance brokers, pet relocation companies, international movers, fixers, car brokers, everything that you're going to need to get moved to Panama. But it also has step-by-step details on, important things to ask before you rent a house, how to find your rental, how to buy a car, how to get your driver's license. So every single thing that you're going to need to know about moving to and living in Panama is in the Online Panama Relocation Guide. I update it just about every week, but definitely every month. There's updates to it. In addition to getting the online guide, you'll also get access to our private Panama Relocation Tour community, which has more than 7,200 people that we've helped move to Panama. And all of those people, it's like you're going to have your best friends are going to be waiting right here in Panama whenever you get here. We also do monthly meetups or get-togethers in 8 different locations in Panama simultaneously. And as someone who wins the Online Panama Relocation Guide, you're going to get access to all of those things. And there's no cost to register. You don't have to buy anything to register. You just have to sign up for our newsletter at PanamaRelocationTours.com/giveaway. So that's all you have to do to subscribe. So everybody that subscribes between now and November the 24th at midnight is going to be entered into the drawing. On November 25th, I'm going to announce who are the 3 winners for the Online Panama Relocation Guide and who are the 3 winners for the pensionado visa. I've talked to all the different immigration attorneys we work with, and I got several of them to donate some visas. So this visa, the pensionado visa, it can be for a single person or it can be for a couple. The cost is going to be absolutely free. Even the fee to get the multi-entry, everything, there's not going to be any cost at all for the visa. So if you'd like to win a visa, or if you'd like to win the Online Panama Relocation Guide, all you have to do is go to that website that I'm showing on the screen right now, PanamaRelocationTours.com/giveaway. Now our newsletter, even if you don't win, you're going to get so much information with our newsletter. It's the #1 way to stay informed about things that are going on in Panama. I'll let you know whenever we have a new video that's coming out. By the way, I have a new video coming out really soon of a guy that's lived in Panama for 26 years and started a business. But I also keep you informed about any visa changes, any law changes, anything else that you need to know about Panama. You're going to get that on a weekly basis with our newsletter. And also with the online guide, everything that we teach during a Panama relocation tour, it's inside of the online guide. So you're going to have access to all that information right away. Once you have the online guide, you have it for life. So there's no annual renewal fee that you have to pay. You get all the updates and the access to the private community is all included with it for free. So once again, if you're interested in possibly winning the Online Panama Relocation Guide, we're giving away 3 Online Panama Relocation Guide. Each one's worth $595, and we're giving away 3 of those. And we're also giving away 3 pensionado visas, and the value of that is, $1,500 to $2,000 for each one of those. So if you'd like the opportunity to win the online guide or a pensionado visa, all you have to do is subscribe to our newsletter at the website that's showing up right there on the screen. I'd also like to request that you help us spread the word. Tell your friends, tell your family, anyone that's interested in learning how they can live better for less here in Panama, tell them to enter our newsletter also. And enter that giveaway. Perhaps they can win the online guide, or they might win a pensionado visa. So make sure and help us spread the word. Tell people about it on Facebook, on social media. Tell your friends and family. Help us spread the word. So once again, the giveaway, you have to register between now and November 24th to be entered to win the drawing. I'm going to announce all the winners on November the 25th. And if you're a winner, you're going to be notified by email, but we'll also, maybe I'll do a live stream. I'll definitely send out an email about it, and I'll put something on Facebook about it as well. So we really do love helping people move to Panama and learning how they can live a better life in Panama. I've had so many people over the years that have contacted me and said that they were kind of at their wits' end, staying where they were. They didn't know how they were going to continue to afford. They would never be able to afford to retire. They were going to have to keep on working. So the solution was to move to Panama, where they can live for less, then they can just relax and enjoy life. So that's the big announcement. I'm going to leave this up here. For just a little while. Make sure PanamaRelocationTours.com/giveaway is where you're going to go to register for the free online guide or the free pensionado visa. So now I want to, in just a little bit, I'm going to get to your questions. By the way, for those of you that are new to our live stream, thank you so much for being here. My name's Jackie Lang, the owner of Panama Relocation Tours. Since 2010, we've been helping people move to Panama the right way. We've helped about a little over 7,500 people move to Panama. We've done 310 all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night relocation tours, more than 650 private tours. So we definitely know how to get moved to Panama. We've helped so many people move to Panama, and we'd love to have the opportunity to help you move to Panama also. So now I'm going to get to your questions, and let me tell you how it works. I can't click on your name. I see all the conversations going on over there in the chat room. I can't click on your name and pop you up on the screen. But what you're going to have to do is type your question into the chat window, and you must put 3 question marks in front of it. I do have 2 moderators today. I've got Rebecca and also Michelle are helping me to moderate everything over in the chat window. Please know, let's leave politics out of it. I like to stay 100% non-political because it just ruffles some feathers. And also, please no promoting, other products or services or other people. This is all about Panama Relocation Tours today, and we appreciate all of you being here. We've got 493 people right now. We might have a few more people that roll in just a little bit. So once again, if you have a question, all you have to do is type it in right here. Here we go is our first one. It says, I already purchased the guide, which is valuable. If I win the guide, can I trade it for a visa? So the way that it's going to work is we know who's already purchased the online guide. So you wouldn't be eligible to win the online guide if you've already bought the online guide. And we know we don't know who's got a visa and who doesn't have a visa. But if you already bought the online guide, then you wouldn't be notified that you won. Next question. What to expect if using a private guide, cost a day for one in PC and one in David. So we have a whole tab on our website under the tours tab. There's a section called private tours that has a lot of detail about private tours. The cost is going to be about $250 to $300, maybe $350 a day. It depends on your itinerary. Some people want to start at 10 o'clock in the morning and end by 4. Some people want to start at 8 o'clock in the morning and end at 5. Some people want to cover a small area. Some people want to cover a big area. So there's a lot of different variables, and your private tour guide is going to give you the exact price based on the things that you want to accomplish. Now, private tours are customized to do the things that you want to accomplish, but of course, the private tour guides are going to make recommendations and say, well, you really need to see this and this also. Is that okay? And so they're going to make recommendations that go along with the things that you want to do. By the way, I'm going to get to as many questions as I possibly can, but some of them are going to scroll right off the screen before I can get to it. You might have to type it in a couple of times before I get to it. So Heidi says, with the Friendly Nation visa, I plan on starting an online consulting business, but can I work for a Panamanian company in addition to my business? So yes, if you have the Friendly Nation visa, then you can get a work permit. If you have a work permit, then you can work for a Panamanian company. You can work in Panama. Keep in mind, everybody, they've changed the rules recently. If you have a pensionado visa, you cannot get a work permit. If you want to sell products or services in Panama or have a consulting business, you can't do that unless you have a work permit. So you can't get a work permit unless you get a Friendly Nation visa or some of the other visas, but not with the pensionado visa. I hear that there may be issues with the domicile address provided for residency, namely being consistent with the changes upon being questioned by authorities. Any info? So what you're talking about, when you apply for your residency visa, most people are just staying in a hotel or an Airbnb for 5 days, and that's the address that your attorney, they get a letter from the hotel or the Airbnb. That's the address that they put on your residency papers. Now, that's always been a law, but they're cracking down on the law. Now, whenever you change your address, within 30 days, you have to go to immigration. You have to notify them of your new address. If you do it within 30 days, then there's no fee. But if you don't notify them and you go like 50 days or 2 months later, there's a $100 fee per person to change your address. But you are required by law to update your address with immigration within 30 days of changing your address. I would love to take your tour because I want to move there someday, but I was told I must register my marriage because I'm married to a Panamanian. No, I've never heard that. Actually, you don't, if you're married to a Panamanian, you can get your own visa. You don't have to get a visa because you're married to a Panamanian. You can get a pensionado visa, you can get your own visa, and you can certainly come on the tour. Now, if you're married to a Panamanian and you got married outside of Panama, then you may still want to register your marriage certificate in Panama so that Panama recognizes your marriage, because if you were married someplace else and your marriage certificate isn't registered in Panama, then they won't know that you're husband and wife. And that could be important for things like estate planning and things like that. Where is the closest immigration office in Coronado? That would be in Penonomé, would be the closest immigration office. It's about 40 minutes west. So next question. Can you tell us what's going on in regards to Medicare Advantage direct billing at Hospital Cherokee? So Medicare Advantage has direct billing at Hospital Cherokee. However, when it's a holiday, unfortunately, Hospital Cherokee, on a recent holiday, they didn't have staff to make that phone call or to send that email to verify benefits or to get a guarantee of payment. So if it's a holiday and you have a medical emergency, I would recommend that you go to Hospital May Lewis instead of Hospital Cherokee. I don't know if it happens every holiday, but it happened on a recent holiday that they didn't have any staff to verify Medicare Advantage benefits so that you could do direct billing. You know, that's something that I notified people about in our private Facebook group, our Facebook community. So little tips like that are the kind of things that you really need to know about. Where to go when you have a medical emergency, who does direct billing, who doesn't do direct billing. So Lucy says, I qualify for a professional visa for work part-time in Panama. Does the guide have any teaching on employment agencies? So first of all, I can tell you it's almost impossible for to get a job in Panama unless you're teaching at an international school. Those are pretty easy jobs to get, but any other kind of jobs are very hard to get. The reason for that is Panama has a law that in a company, 90% of the workforce has to be Panamanian, only 10% can be a foreigner. And that 10% that's a foreigner, almost always they require you to be fluent in Spanish. And there's also more than 135 different professions that are protected for Panamanians only. So a foreigner couldn't even do that job. So your best bet for getting any kind of work in Panama would be at an international school. How do I bring my dogs with me when I move to Panama? So how you bring your dogs to Panama, that would be a whole live stream, but I can tell you where you can go to get the information. On our website, we have an article. Our website, by the way, is Panama Relocation Tours. We have an article called Bringing Your Pets to Panama. It has step-by-step details and some very time-sensitive information on the things that are required to bring your dog to Panama. But let me tell you that there's basically 4 ways. One way is you can bring them on a commercial flight. If they're too big, they're going to have to go in cargo. Another way that you can do is hire a pet relocation company. A third way is there are shared charter flights that are about $7,000 per person, and then you get 2 pets that can be with you on the shared charter flight. The other way is to drive to Panama or hire someone to drive you to Panama. So those are the ways, but the important things you need to know are in that article, so make sure and check it out. By the way, for those of you that came in a little bit late, I'm going to go over the big announcement about the big giveaway that we're doing for free online Panama relocation guides, 3 free online Panama relocation guides, and 3 free pensionado visas. I'll go over that again in just a little bit. So I have a travel business that already can do business in Panama from my host company. Will I need to do anything additional to continue to run my business in Panama? Oh, yes. You have to jump through a million hoops to be able to run any kind of a travel business. You have to be registered with the Panama Tourism Authority. They're going to come and inspect your office. You have to have a regular office, and it costs, you have to put up a bond, a $10,000 bond that you can, so you're going to have to do a lot of things. Of course, you need to have a work permit also. So there's a lot of things you have to do. So you have to have a work permit. You have to be registered with the Tourism Authority. And will it be difficult to find unfurnished or partially furnished homes outside of the city area of Volcan with 2 cats? So, you know, some houses, the majority of the homes that are for rent are going to be furnished or partially furnished. It's a little bit more difficult to find homes that are unfurnished, but you know, if you're just patient, you can always find one. If you're bringing cats with you to Panama, I would highly recommend that you come and secure the rental before you bring your cats here. Can you work at an international school with a pensionado visa? You cannot work at an international school with a pensionado visa. Remember, to work anywhere in Panama, you have to have a work permit, and you cannot get a work permit with a pensionado visa. Thank you for all the wonderful pet relocation information. Just wondering if after the few years life intervenes or whatever reason, how hard is it to get the pet back to the USA? So to get your pet back to the USA, you've got those same 4 methods on how you're going to get them back, but you have to get an international health certificate that has, if you're from the United States, to get them here, international health certificate authenticated by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, re-authenticated by the Panama Consulate. It can't be more than 10 days old if you're flying on a commercial flight. For you to leave Panama, you have to get a brand new international health certificate. You have to get an export license, and it all has to be signed by Mensa. Now, your veterinarian here in Panama will take care of all those things. And if you're flying on a commercial flight, it can't be more than 10 days old. So you have to jump through all the hoops all over again. As a retired artist, would I be allowed to casually exhibit or sell my art at all on a pensionado visa? Not really. You know, you could put things occasionally on like Facebook Marketplace and you could sell it on there every once in a while, but, you know, setting it up at workshops or galleries or things like that, I've talked to an attorney about this recently. You have to have a work permit. If you just sell a piece every once in a while on Facebook Marketplace, you can get by without the work permit, but not usually in other locations. Does a 25% pensionado discount apply to cruise line travel that originates in Panama? From what I understand, it does not apply to cruises. It only applies to flights outside of Panama. If you're only in the country for a week for your pensionado visa and then travel back to the U.S. until you're ready to retire, what address do you use when you leave? So you don't have to give an address when you leave. You give them an address when you get your visa. And then when you come back to Panama and you get an Airbnb or you get a long-term rental, then that's when you have to go to immigration and you have to update your address if you're not staying at the same hotel as when you got your visa. If someone from another Caribbean island moved to Panama, will they be able to get a working privilege to work in Panama? Nope, they cannot get a working privilege to work in Panama unless they qualify for a visa that will allow them to get a work permit. Without a work permit, no foreigners can work in Panama. I have a work permit, but you can't work in Panama without the work permit, and you can't live in Panama without a residency visa. Can you talk more about the business startup visa? I met a couple in Boquete who did this, took 3 years to get the visa. It does take 3 years to get the visa. I have an article about that on our website at Panama Relocation Tours. So if you go there and in the upper right-hand corner, search 4 ways to get a Friendly Nation visa. Way number 4 is that you can set up a corporation. That corporation issues you a labor contract. By getting that, you can get a work permit that allows you to be able to work in Panama, start a business, or work for someone else. And it does take 3 years to get that visa. How long should one spend on a scouting trip? How long would it take to get a feel for a new place? So, you know, we do our all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night Panama relocation tours, and we basically just give you one lick off the ice cream cone of each one of the different areas. We don't spend a concentrated amount of time in each area, maybe 1 day in all the different areas that we visit. If you want to do a deeper dive, and that we do that in 1 week. But if you want to do a deeper dive and maybe spend 1 week in each one of the different areas then that you're interested in, then you would have to determine where. If you know you only want to live by the beach, then you can determine which beaches you want to go to. If you know you only want to live in Panama City, you could do that easily in 1 week. If you want to live in the highlands, you could do that in 1 week. But if you want to cover a lot of different areas and spend more time, you should do at least 2 weeks, I would say. Femi says, got the FBI background check, and it has 2 dings, one from 2008, one from 2020. Both were dismissed. They need to try to get them expunged. It won't do any good at all to get them expunged. If any of those are felonies, then you're probably not going to be able to get a visa in Panama. The best thing for you to do is to, if it's a current copy of your FBI report, is send a copy of that to any immigration attorney in Panama and ask them, am I going to be able to get a visa? Now, I can tell you there may be some additional steps that are involved that will cost extra money for you to get a visa because of those dings. I have a few treasured houseplants. What are the restrictions? You can't bring any houseplants into Panama, unfortunately. Take a picture and look at the picture every once in a while. Is it true that we should wait to apply for the pensionado visa after we arrive in Panama? It's true. You can't apply for a visa until you're in Panama. You can gather all your documents before you get here, but you can't actually apply for the pensionado visa until you're here in Panama. So I'm just going to do a couple more questions, and then I'm going to repeat the information about our big announcement for the giveaway. Do you assist Canadians as well as U.S. citizens? We assist Canadians as well as U.S. citizens. We've actually helped people from 67 different countries relocate to Panama. So we can certainly, and we've helped a lot of Canadians. If you have a visa and come to Panama to visit for less than a week, do we need to notify immigration? No, you don't. If you're only going to be here for 1 week, then you don't need to notify immigration. But if you're going to be here for a month or more, then you do have to notify immigration. Is there any update on direct billing for Medicare Advantage for the Panama Clinic? The Panama Clinic does direct billing for Medicare Advantage for any Medicare Advantage except for Humana or Devoted. They won't do those two, but any other Medicare Advantage they'll do at the Panama Clinic. Can you offer any insight on the gay community and status in Panama? Costa Rica's community and status is surprisingly evolved. Is it the same thing there? Well, I'm not gay, so I can't give you firsthand experience, but I can tell you that we have a lot of clients that are gay, that feel very welcome, that, you know, feel very happy to be here, and they've met a lot of like-minded people that they're friends with. There is a Facebook group that's just for the LGBTQ, whatever else goes with it, community here in Panama. So you might check that out and get some insights from people there. Is the pensionado discount for anyone who has that visa, or is it only related to age? We're in our 40s and qualify for the pensionado visa. So with the pensionado visa, it's not age related. You have to be at least 18 years old to get the pensionado visa. And if you have the pensionado visa, then you do get the pensionado discounts once you get your permanent visa. For the other visas, like the Friendly Nation visa, business investor visa, things like that, it is age specific. And you have to be at least 55 for women or 60 for men to qualify for the discounts with that. Wanda says, my passport has my maiden name, good for 4 more years, and my social security check is in my married name. I'm going through divorce right now, so would it be a problem applying for a retirement visa? I think you're going to have a big problem applying for a visa with different names on different documents. I would recommend that you talk to an immigration attorney. We do have recommendations of very affordable and reliable immigration attorneys in our Online Panama Relocation Guide. Panama wants everything to match. So if on your passport it says like Jackie M. Lang, my name, but my social security just says Jackie Lang with no M in the middle, no, it doesn't match. They want everything to match. So definitely talk to your immigration attorney about how things to match up. You might need to get your passport renewed sooner. Does the attorney review the documents before submitting them to the consulate? We do recommend that you scan and email or scan and WhatsApp your documents to your immigration attorney before you get the authentication at the consulate. I retired in 2028, thinking about the 2026. Is that too soon? No, it's not too soon at all. because you're probably investigating several different countries. Panama is, of course, #1 country, but you need to come and see it and make sure that it's a good fit. So I want to time out everybody, hold off on your questions for just a minute. We've had quite a few people that have joined us since the live stream started, and I bet a lot of them are wondering, what's the big announcement? So if you didn't start in the beginning of this, I want to go ahead and reiterate what our big announcement is. Once a year, we do a big giveaway just to thank everybody for being a loyal follower, loyal customer. We have the regular people that come on our live streams every single week. So one of our ways of saying thank you is we give away stuff. So this year, we're giving away 3 Online Panama Relocation Guides, and we're giving away 3 pensionado visas. The pensionado visa can be for a single person or for a couple. All you have to do to register to win, let me put it up here again, is you have to register for our newsletter. You go to PanamaRelocationTours.com/giveaway. When you subscribe between now and November the 24th, you're going to be entered into the drawing. And then I'm going to announce the winners on November the 25th. And you can watch the replay of the video to learn more about why you really, really want to have the Online Panama Relocation Guide. And also, it'll save you $1,500 to $2,500 if you win the pensionado visa. So you definitely want to do that. So some people have asked me, well, what if we've already subscribed? Am I still eligible for the drawing? And absolutely yes. If you've already subscribed to our newsletter, then you're going to be entered into that drawing as well. So all you have to do, once again, is go to, let me click on it, PanamaRelocationTours.com/giveaway, and subscribe to our newsletter. And you have to do it before midnight on November the 24th. On November 25th, I'm going to announce who are the 3 winners for the Online Panama Relocation Guide and who are the 3 winners for a pensionado visa. So now I'm going to get back to your questions. Once again, you have to type 3 question marks in front of your question, and then I'll pop it up on the screen. Okay, I guess I killed all the questions. I'll pop it up on the screen. What's the latest news on Mexico Pet Movers? So Mexico Pet Movers is completely booked out through April for them to use their van to drive you down to Panama. If you want them to, by the way, for people who don't know what we're talking about, Mexico Pet Movers is a company that will drive you and your car and your pets and some of your stuff down to Panama for you. They'll help you get through the borders, do the translations, do all those things. They also have a great big van that if you don't want to bring your car, they'll bring you down in their van with your pets and with your stuff can be in the back of the van. Now, to come in their van, they're booked through April, but you can contact them to get on the backup list in case somebody cancels. But they do have some openings, I believe, for someone to see if I have it in here. No, I don't have it in there. So MexicoPetMovers.com is their website. So that's a great way if you've got big dogs and you don't want to put them in cargo, because if you use pet relocation, they're going to put them in cargo. If you fly commercial and you've got a big dog, they're going to put them in cargo. If you don't want to put your pets in cargo, this is an affordable way to get you and your pets and your stuff down to Panama. What are your thoughts on the Azuara, specifically Chitre and Las Tablas for expats? I've heard that those places are nice. So if you like warm weather, I'm talking 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit during the day and super affordable prices, then Chitre and Las Tablas are a fantastic place to live. The prices are much more affordable than they are in other areas. And both Chitre and Las Tablas are about 10 minutes to a beach. So you're close to the beach and you get more of an authentic Panamanian feel. It's not lots and lots of expats like some other beach communities like Coronado area. Are you offering any Black Friday discounts on the relocation guide? That we haven't figured out yet. Right now, what we're doing is we're offering the opportunity that you can win it for free if you subscribe to our newsletter. And can you get a pensionado visa if you have a speeding ticket or an FBI background check? You can get a pensionado visa if you meet the requirements, which are at least for one person, $1,000 a month in lifetime income, like a pension, military disability, or $1,250 if it's a couple applying together. So that's one of the requirements. The other requirement is if you don't have any felonies or any time in jail, then you can get a pensionado visa. The website for the giveaway only has the free online guide. How do you sign up for the visas? So when you sign up for the online guide giveaway, you're automatically going to be signed up for the visas also. So everybody that signs up there is going to be signed up for both of those. FBI was clear of offenses, but said it doesn't include state issues. Is that a problem? No, because Panama is going to usually run an Interpol on you, and they're going to uncover anything else anywhere in the world that might have happened. Do you have to depart from Panama Airport to get the 25% off on international travel? So if it's a Copa airline flight, you do not have to depart from a Panama airport to get the 25% discount. But all the other airlines, you have to depart from a Panama airport. The notice of the 4-bedroom, 2-bath house was unfurnished. Is it a bad sign if most rentals come furnished and this one isn't? It's not a bad sign. It's just, some of them, the majority of houses are going to come furnished, and it's kind of hard to find unfurnished. I know which one you're talking about. I think it was $650, and it looked really good for that price. Will government and professional offices be open for appointments from February 9th through the 12th before Carnival? Can you start the visa process before February 13th? So between, for Carnival, government offices, attorneys' offices, banks, real estate agents, everybody's not working during Carnival. You can start your visa process before Carnival, February 9th through the 12th, and you should be able to get your temporary visa in that time frame. So long as you arrive like on February the 8th and you applied on the 9th, I'm not sure what day that is. Of course, immigration's only open Monday through Friday. Can you start a company and hire yourself to qualify for the Friendly Nation visa? I've heard conflicting information about this. Yes, you can do that. We have an article about that on our website on PanamaRelocationTours.com. In the upper right-hand corner, search 4 ways to get a Friendly Nation visa, and it's way number 4. I thought Best Mexico Pet Movers were holding off on booking reservations through December. They're holding off on booking any reservations for driving down in their van, but they are taking reservations if you want them to drive in their car. I'm confused about getting the FBI background check apostilled. Can I go through my state government, or do I have to do a Panama consulate? So an apostille can either be done by your state government, or it can be done on the federal level of the federal State Department. You can either do that, or you can do the Panama consulate, but you don't have to do both. So if the closer one is to just go through your state government, then I would definitely recommend that you do that. Can you please provide a concise summary of the medical insurance and care options for seniors? So what I can do is send you to our website, which has detailed information. If you go to PanamaRelocationTours.com, and if you search health insurance options, it has step-by-step details of all the options that are available to you. I have a brochure for each one of the options available, pricing for each one of the options, and what's going to be excluded for each one of them. So that's where you need to go. PanamaRelocationTours.com, search health insurance options. Are there any prohibition on pensionado visas if school-age children are part of the family? No, your school-age children can be a dependent for you. You might want to talk to your Panama attorney about the advantages of adding your children on after you get your permanent visa. It's called reunification. So make sure and talk to your immigration attorney. You can add them on at the same time. You get your visa as a dependent, or you can add them on after you get your permanent visa under the reunification program. So talk to your attorney about that. Can I get a pensionado visa with a grandchild in my permanent custody? If you have guardianship papers that show that you have permanent custody of your grandchild, then yes, they could be a dependent under your pensionado visa. My husband has a list of documents required to apply for a pensionado visa from the guide, the required documents for the spouse. It's the same documents. So if your husband needs an FBI report, you need an FBI report. If your husband's income is enough to support both of you, $1,250 a month, then you only need that income verification. If it's not, then you're both going to need income verification. The other thing, if you're married and applying for a pensionado visa together, you must have a certified copy of your marriage certificate. And reminder, all of those things have to be either authenticated by the Panama consulate or they have to be apostilled by your state. Let me get a little drink of water here. Well, drink of hibiscus tea, even better. If you get the pensionado visa, do you have to live there full time or just a certain number of months? The great thing about the pensionado visa in Panama is you're not required to live here full time. The only requirement is you have to come back for at least one day every 2 years to maintain your visa. Would you recommend using my pensionado discount to fly back to the States? Keep in mind, you can't use the pensionado discount until you have your permanent visa. So when you have a temporary visa, you don't qualify for any discounts. It's not until you get your permanent visa. But yes, if you're living in Panama and you want to fly back to the States and you have your permanent visa, absolutely use the discount. The easiest way to get the discount is to contact a travel agent. We have recommendations of 4 different travel agents in the Online Panama Relocation Guide, and they can get you that 25% off quick and easy. I just selected my attorney for David. They've sent me out a list of things I need to send to them, and I trust with the online. I'm very nervous and excited at the same time. So what you need to do, Darlene, is you need to do what your immigration attorney says to do. They've done hundreds of visas every single month, and they know what to do. If you have any questions about anything, if you're unsure about anything, just reach out to your immigration attorney and they'll clarify it. Can I apply for PV? I guess that's pensionado visa during a visit in February, still serving but retiring in the fall of 26. So you can't apply for the pensionado visa until you qualify, and you have to already be receiving that pension before you can qualify for the pensionado visa. So if you're not retiring until the fall of 2026, you may not already have your pension. The pensionado visa is different from a permanent visa. Actually, it's the same thing. With the pensionado visa, you start out with getting a temporary visa that's only good for 6 months. At the end of the 6 months, you're going to get a permanent visa. So first you get a temporary pensionado visa, then you get a permanent pensionado visa. How much upfront do you normally pay to start the process with the immigration attorney? So some immigration attorneys, they charge, $500 upfront. Some immigration attorneys don't charge anything upfront until you actually have the visa in your hand. Every attorney is a little bit different. How does taxation work if I get a pensionado visa? I currently live in Florida. If I move to Panama and I receive a pension from the federal government. So in Panama, they have a territorial taxing system, and you're not taxed on any income that's sourced outside of Panama. Only if you sell products or sell services in Panama to people in Panama, then you're going to have to pay taxes in Panama. But the work that you're doing outside of Panama, you don't pay Panama any taxes on it. If you have a pension that you earn outside of Panama, you don't have to pay Panama any taxes on that. Can I apply for the pensionado visa while still serving in the military? You cannot apply for the pensionado visa until you actually have a pension. So you have to have a lifetime pension they're already collecting on for you to be able to qualify. To win the visa, is it for one person? So the pensionado visa, if you win, we're giving away 3 pensionado visas, and it can be for one person or for a couple. It can be for either one. So reminder that for you to register to win a free pensionado visa or an online Panama relocation guide, you go here, PanamaRelocationTours.com/giveaway. That opts you into our newsletter, which, you want to get that anyway, because you get weekly updates about what's going on in Panama, any law changes or rule changes. We're in our 50s and don't have a pension, so considering an annuity to get the pensionado visa. U.S. annuities don't allow disbursements until 60s. The Panama annuities allow for it in your 50s. So I have never heard of I think you're talking to the wrong people about an annuity, because I know several people that are in their 40s that bought a U.S. annuity that's paying out the $1,250 a month so they could get a pensionado visa. So we do have a list in the Online Panama Relocation Guide, if you have that, of annuity companies to work with that know exactly what they need in Panama to be able to get that annuity. We got our temporary pensionado visa a couple of months ago. What's the typical wait time for a permanent? So it's usually 6 months. Sometimes it's 5, but it's usually 6 months. Do you have to remain in Panama for the full 6 months once your pensionado visa is approved? Nope, you don't. While you're waiting for your pensionado visa approved, you don't have to stay in Panama. When you get your temporary visa, there's going to be a little QR code on the back of it. It's called a monthly multiple entry QR code, which allows you to leave and come back and leave and come back as many times as you want to during that 6 months. Your immigration attorney is going to let you know when your permanent visa is approved and ready for pickup, and you can wait and come back to Panama at that time. Can you clarify what's considered income? I get a company pension plus CPP and also monthly payment from an income fund. So from the income fund, that's not going to work. It has to be a company pension that you're going to get for the rest of your life. The CPP would certainly qualify, and you can combine the monthly pension, the company pension plus the CPP. But income that you get from like a 401k, an income fund, rental income, those things don't qualify. At this point, we plan on wintering in Panama probably 3 months at a time. Would you have to reapply before each trip down? No, once you apply, if you're talking about applying for a visa, once you apply for your visa, then you're going to have your pensionado visa. If you get a pensionado visa, it's going to take about 5 days to get your temporary visa. Then within 6 months, your permanent visa will be ready. So you can just wait and pick it up when you come down the next time. But you don't have to reapply for a visa. Once you get the visa, it's a permanent visa. It's good forever. I understand the pensionado visa holder can own a business but not work in that business. Can you clarify that policy? That's true. If you have a pensionado visa, you can own a business or you can be an investor in a business, but you can't work in that business. You can't be present in the business. Let's say you had a restaurant that you were on the restaurant. You can't take orders. You can't be the cook. You can't work at the cash register. You shouldn't even be there in the business. You can just own it, but you can't be involved in it at all. And I would honestly, if you're thinking about owning a business in Panama, you shouldn't get the pensionado visa. You should get a different visa, because there's going to be times in that business when critical people don't show up and you may have to fill in for them, or just put closed on the business for that day. Let's see. Can you please repeat the typical PV attorney fees ranging, including government fees? So the attorney fees are going to be about $1,400, $1,500, up to $2,500. It depends on which attorney you work for. The other thing you have to keep in mind is some attorneys, it just includes the visa and the government fees. By the way, government fees are waived for the pensionado visa, but they don't waive them for the other visas, like a friendly nation visa. And the government fees are $1,100 per person. So getting the pensionado visa saves that money right off the bat. So it's about $1,400, $1,500 on the low end. And then it can be as much as $2,500 on the high end. The $2,500 is typically going to include helping you get a bank account, get a driver's license, get your e-cedula, which may not be included in the price on the lower end. But it's so easy to just hire a fixer to help you with those things. There's no need in paying the higher price. I'd like to stay at least 2 weeks in Panama when I come on my relocation tour, so I can process my residency application while down there and save on the airfare. Is that possible? Yes, it's certainly possible. You're not going to be able to do any visa work during your relocation tour, because we're going to be moving across the country and keeping you busy every single day. So you're either going to have to come in 5 business days before your tour to get your visa, or you're going to have to stay 5 business days after the tour to get your visa. I saw something mentioned about not paying the dollars to go to the conference by your competitors, but I'm interested in making that my first business. So the only conference I can think of is International Living. That's the only one that I know of that's doing any conferences. You're just going to be sitting in a hotel room watching slideshows. It would be so much better to spend that same money on actually seeing the country during a Panama relocation tour, instead of just sitting in a hotel room and looking at pictures. Are there a lot of folks who've been coming and going for years in Panama but never obtained residency visa? I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody that does that. Perhaps it happened like 10 or 15 years ago that happened, but Panama has really cracked down on the perpetual tourists, they call. They just flat out don't allow it. Every single day they have people from immigration that are out checking paperwork to make sure that people are in Panama legally. And if you're not, you could get deported and never be able to come back. What does it mean to have documents apostilled? Is that getting them translated into Spanish? No, an apostille is a special government document that authenticates the document. And it can only, an apostille can only be done on the federal level or the state level. If you're from Canada, all of your documents have to be apostilled. If you're from the United States, your documents can be apostilled or authenticated. So an apostille, it's not just a notary, it's a special stamp that goes on your documents that said this is an authentic document. Wow, it's already been an hour. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Would you recommend using my pensionado discount to fly back to the States? If you have your permanent visa, then yes, I would recommend using your pensionado visa to get back to the States. So if anybody else has a question for me, all you have to do is put 3 question marks in front of it, and I'll pop it up on the screen and answer it for you. I ask because of folks who know in other countries who just come and go, yeah, but other countries isn't like Panama. Panama is very strict about they call that border hopping, and Panama is very strict. Let me tell you just what happened just last week. We have one of our clients that they don't have their pension yet. So they're in Panama and they have a year until they're going to get their pension. So they're in Panama living here now with their pets. And they thought, well, we'll just go over to Costa Rica for the weekend and then we'll come back. Well, when they got to the border to come back, the immigration people said, nope, you can't come back. You have to be gone at least 30 days before you can come back. These people have pets in the country. They had a pet sitter just for the weekend, and they would not let them back in the country. Another thing that happened at the airport, and just in this month, is they left, they're waiting for their pension to kick in. So meanwhile, they're doing the border hops for a while, and they had flown to Medellin, Colombia. When they came back, they thought, well, we're going to get another 180 days in the country. Immigration only gave them 2 weeks. That's all they got, was that you're allowed to stay in the country for 2 more weeks. So if you do border hops, normally you're allowed to stay for 180 days, but there's no guarantee that you're going to do it. And if they see a pattern, this person's leaving every 3 months and coming back, leaving for 3 months and coming back, leaving for 5 months, and coming back. If they see that, they can deny entry into the country. So if you want to live in Panama, you have to get a visa. So next question. You said there will be lesser attorney fees for pensionado vita than pay a fixer to do the rest. What is a fixer? So a fixer is somebody that helps you get things done. And we have a list of fixers in our Online Panama Relocation Guide. So it's a person that can help you get your driver's license, help you open a bank account, help you get your cedula, help you get your car title renewed every year. They just people that do things for you here in Panama. I'm married to a Panamanian. Do I need to get a pensionado visa? Or can we do some other kind of a visa? Because you're married to a Panamanian, you can get a visa that's called Married to a Panamanian visa. However, it's going to take 2 years to get that visa. And there's going to be several different home visits that they're going to come and interview you during those 2 years. So you can certainly get that visa, or you can get a pensionado visa. You can get either one. We had to spend some time finding a flight to get there. Would it be better to use your travel agents to get flights to and from? And what do they typically charge? So for international flights, our travel agents charge $25 to help you get that flight. Do you need to make an appointment at immigration to notify them of an address change? No, you don't have to pay anybody to do it. You can just go in. Right now, what they're doing is they have someone that's just designated to helping people change their address. That's their main function there. If we get the Friendly Nation visa first, can we get the pensionado visa later? That's a great question, Shelley. I'm glad you asked that. You certainly could do that, but let me tell you what the process is. Or let's say you had a pensionado visa and you wanted to switch to a Friendly Nation visa. That's what I did. I started with a pensionado and I had to switch to Friendly Nation so I could get a work permit. So what you would have to do is you would have to renounce the Friendly Nation visa. You'd have to renounce that, and that cost about $500 per person. Then you have to reapply all over again. That means a new criminal report. You're going to need new income verification letters, all those things, and new attorney fees. That's the biggest part to apply for the visa later. And the only reason that you might be thinking that you need to do that is so you can get those pensionado discounts. Well, guess what? With the Friendly Nation visa, you get those pensionado discounts also. With the Friendly Nation visa, you just have to meet the age requirements, which are 55 for women and 60 for men. So there's really no reason to jump through the hoops to switch to a different visa, unless you're like me, that you had a pensionado visa and you couldn't get a work permit. I needed a work permit to run these tours, so I had to switch to a Friendly Nation visa. When I moved to Panama, I had no plans. I was going to be retired. I had no plans to start a tour business. And here I am, 300 tours and 15 years later, and I have a tour business, but there's no way I could operate that business without having a work permit. So I had to switch to a different visa. I was told you can't get the pensionado visa because he's Panamanian. The attorneys that we work with, they can help you get the pensionado visa. Your husband, he's got a cedula, so he doesn't need to get a visa. He's already a Panamanian. How many times can you be a snowbird without having any problems? So long as you're a snowbird and you're gone for like 6 months, then that's not going to be a problem. But if you were a snowbird that's just gone for a week or two, or maybe a month, maybe 2 times, and then it could be a problem that they wouldn't let you back in. How many days per year does a temporary resident have to be in Panama to keep their visa? So with a temporary visa, once you get it, there's no requirement to stay in the country as a temporary visa holder. You do have to come back into Panama to pick up your permanent visa. So I want to do a quick reminder to everybody that if you would like to win an online Panama relocation guide or a pensionado visa, you need to subscribe to our newsletter, and you go here, PanamaRelocationTours.com/giveaway. And when you subscribe there before midnight on November the 24th, then you're going to be entered into a drawing we're giving away 3 online Panama relocation guides, and we're giving away 3 pensionado visas. The pensionado visa can either be for a single person or for a couple with no fees at all. And each one of the online guides is worth about $595. Each one of the visas is worth about $1,500. So it's a big savings. So definitely subscribe to our newsletter. And I could really use your help if you would put that information out there on social media and tell other people to subscribe to the newsletter too. Put that link up and let them know that they can enter to win a free online guide or a free pensionado visa. We could sure use your help in spreading the word about this. So I hope that you have all enjoyed all the questions and the answers. We could, I used to do these things for 2 hours, Q&A for 2 hours. I don't know how in the world I did that, but I used to do them for 2 hours, but it's way too long. So we're going to have another Q&A live stream in December. So if I didn't get to your question this time, I'll definitely, hopefully get it to the next time. So thank you so much for joining us for our Move to Panama Q&A live stream. Make sure and subscribe to our newsletter so you can be entered into the chance to win an online guide or a pensionado visa. And please help us by spreading the word about our giveaway. Thanks, everybody. Good night.